Hi everybody, Yuval Ron here. I'd like to tell you today a little bit about why I'm making detailed demos before I'm actually recording an album. Because when I write an album, there is a stage between the actual composition and creation of the music, arranging it into parts, and finally scoring it for other musicians, and the actual recording. I actually make detailed demos with MIDI instruments. I use Superior Drummer, I use some bass libraries, and of course synth libraries, which usually end up being the final synths, and of course guitar, all my parts. And why do I do that? Why would I actually not suffice with scores and just give the musicians the notes to play from? The reason is that I realized that not everything can be written down in scores. There are some details that I don't find that I can express well just with notes, just by writing them. Be the notes as accurate as they are, it doesn't matter, because for example, if you have a drum and bass fill, which is not a standard kind of fill, it's not swing, it's not Latin, it's not funk, it's not any other groove that people already know, I think this is very hard to convey the idea and the message of that groove just by writing into notes. For example, Wi-Fi in Emerald City. That groove is so intricate that I could have written it in notes, and I did write it in notes, but I don't think that would suffice. I think that those little dynamics, I really needed the guys to play them just as I intended them to be. So if I just wrote them in notes, I'm not sure the result would be the same, or at least I would have had harder time to explain this. There is another reason also to actually making detailed demos, and that is a practical reason. Sometimes you just don't have time to rehearse, or your time to rehearse is quite limited, and you really have to make sure people are coming ready to rehearsals, or there are no rehearsals at all because, for example, it's an online project like what we do. And in that case, the best way to let musicians understand what is it exactly that you want is to have both a score and a detailed demo. And that is exactly what I did, and that's why I think the process is very efficient while we work. People know, I would say 95% what I need, what the music needs from them to play, even before we talked about anything, because it is already there in notes and in music, which is as close as possible. And what's left for them to do is actually the most important part still, which is actually playing it as a human being, expressing it as a human being, and that is irreplaceable by any demo.